for my Navy training, I was told that never turn away when somebody offers you a microphone. But I respect my brother here. I promise I will stick to the script. Mr. President of the community, distinguished guests, Vietnam veterans, community members, members of the press, members of the Vietnamese American Uniformed Service Association. Every year, on April 30th, also known as Black April, overseas Americans across the globe who escaped communist regime get together to cry and remember the victims who have perished on their way in search of freedom. It's also to speak out against the crime committed by the communists of Vietnam. Using the banner of national unification, the Vietnamese communists killed millions of innocent Vietnamese on both sides, North and South. Did the communists really liberate South Vietnam and reunite the nation? This is definitely not. Liberation brings a better future and builds a free and democratic society. It also advances and enables the country to pursue prosperity, happiness for each and every citizen. Unification must unite the people, harmonize the society, and synergize the collective effort to rebuild the country. Vietnam has neither liberated nor unified. A renowned poet and former North Vietnamese soldier, Gil Tu Hung, who was born and raised in North Vietnam, participated in the final days of the offensive. Once the city was liberated, she sat in the middle of the street of Saigon, quiet, and said the ignorant and uneducated North Vietnamese has liberated the wealthy, educated South Vietnamese. After defeating the South, Ms. Nguyen Thi Binh, who was a former diplomat of the defunct National Liberation Front, declared it must take another 20 years for the South Vietnam to catch up with the North Vietnamese. Former Secretary General Do Nguyen, who was the chief architect of the capital cleansing and official repatriation of ethnic Chinese policy, proclaimed by liberating the South, we confiscate their personal properties, land, businesses. We seize their transportation and marry their wives. We enslave their children. In addition, we force our enemy into hard labor camps and in the remote and isolated economic zone, so they will die from starvation slowly. These state-run policies were intended to retaliate their enemy, not to reconcile. To enforce this doctrine, 43 years later, Secretary General Nguyễn Phú Trọng asserted a party leader must be a northerner who has a strong communist ideology. Ladies and gentlemen, people who stayed behind after April 30th, 1975, witnessed convoys of trucks which fully loaded with war trophies stolen from the people of the South, heading to the North on a daily basis. Is that what they call liberation? They deploy a savage army to invade and ransack the South. What about unification? The country may be united by geography, but the people are far from being united and coexist in equality. The winners set out to rule the South with an iron fist, oppression, cruelty that have never been seen in the history of Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I, Phạm Duy Tắc, former Army Ranger and a Brigadier General of the Republic of Vietnam, proudly stand here with you. With love and respect, I'm wearing my uniform with a full military decoration that was bestowed to me by you, the United States of America. As a fellow brothers in arms, I have a message for you. The ARVN never surrendered the war. The men and women who served the ARVN were brave and worthy fighters. They fought with gallantry and protected their country and were not cowards, as wrongly portrayed by the left-wing media. The ARVN sacrificed almost 1 million soldiers who fought courageously along with you in many bloody battles. I would like to express my sincere appreciation with admiration to those brave American soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice to defend and protect the South Vietnamese people against communist aggression. The Vietnamese people love freedom, as you see many of us are here today. And we will never forget those fallen heroes. Unfortunately, on April 30th, 1975, we have to lay down our arms. Without further elaboration, most of us understand the true reason leading to this tragic event. It was not an excruciating experience to the people of the South, but also a national calamity to the Vietnamese people. We have lost free and proud republic that stood for liberty, democracy, and humanity. We have lost a beautiful and prosperous country which have a long and rich history and culture. 43 years have gone by. At first glance, Vietnam may have been unified. However, in reality, the whole country has turned into a giant state prison. The authoritarian regime led by the Communist Party freely abuses and oppresses people who oppose their policy. It is further pushed the country into total control of the Chinese. Without true independence, freedom, democracy, and basic human rights, Vietnam has fallen behind many countries day by day, despite having plenty of natural resources and talented people. It is ranked among the poorest countries. Up north, South Vietnam was the poor of the Far East. It should not be surprised to the free Vietnamese are still fighting to end communism in Vietnam. We should not be surprised to see younger generation of Vietnamese today who are willing to stand up and take on a second responsibility to promote more freedom and democracy in the whole land. I also wish the next generation of Vietnamese with great success to fight for a Vietnam to be truly independent with liberty, prosperity, and humanity. Thank you. Since I have a microphone, General Pham Nhu Duc was one of the 4 generals that was in prison for 17 years. President Clinton went to Vietnam and said, if you don't shut down the prisons, we will not renormalize relationship with Vietnam. General Duc and 3 other generals was the last 4 to left prison. There's only 2 of them alive today. Thank you, sir.